guys. Alright, so I'm Illiad, and this is Claudia and Ronnie and Joey. And today we're going to talk about how the Iliad is better portraying the Trojan War than the movie Troy. Alright, so one of the main differences between the Iliad and the movie Troy is how they had different point of views and how that affected the stories.
In the story of the Iliad, the point of view comes from the Greeks. Because of this, they can be more specific and detailed in what they say in the story and give better meaning to the people reading it.
Whereas in the movie Troy, it's harder to get the full value of everything because it's coming from two different perspectives and it's more vague and it's harder to comprehend.
So by making it more specific to one side, more detail can be put into it so that a better story can be told overall rather than having a vague story be told from two different sides.
And personally, being a fan of Achilles, I tend to like the point of view portrayed in the book a little bit better because it shows more of the Greeks' point of view and it follows Achilles' story more than it did in the movie Troy.
In the book, The Iliad, it shows that because of one man's anger, the Greeks will die, whereas in the movie, it shows that the people who fight bravely will be remembered better.
Okay, and then, so in the Iliad, it started out as describing how Agamemnon kidnapped one of Apollo's priest's daughters, and it just described how that angered Apollo, and Apollo eventually killed some of the Greek army. When in the movie, it just began with Agamemnon's army and another Greek's army and how they were about to battle. And then Achilles eventually killed that one guy.
For the narration, for both story and the movie. In the movie Troy, the narrator is Odysseus. He is part of the Greeks. This makes him biased because he's friends with Achilles. Whereas in the Iliad, the story, there is an unknown narrator who is not biased.
Another difference between the book and the movie is that the gods are portrayed very differently between the two. In the book, they are shown as these beings influencing the people who are fighting the war directly, like helping Achilles out when he threw the spear while fighting Hector. But in the movie, they aren't shown directly and are distant beings, not affecting it directly.
Right, and then the main goal of the gods is to protect the people that worship them.
Yeah, exactly. And the cause of the war in the book and the movie is Helen being taken away, whether it was voluntary or not.
In both the movie and the book, Achilles is portrayed as a heroic figure that is strong and brave, and he is also portrayed as a godly-like figure because he cannot be killed, although at the end of the story he is killed.
Agamemnon is pretty similarly portrayed in both the book and the movie. He is considered to be this bad, mean dictator who attacks Troy and takes over their land and starts a war just for his own personal gain.
Right, and then in the book, Briseis was taken from Achilles, and they were already together, and it was Agamemnon punishing Achilles. When in the movie, Briseis was taken from the city Troy and wasn't really affiliated with Achilles before she was taken.
In the book, Achilles' oath states that Agamemnon will regret letting Achilles leave the army, and in the movie, Achilles is going to kill Agamemnon.
In both the movie and the story, there is a Trojan warrior named Hector, son of Priam. All Trojan people love Hector. Hector is killed by Achilles in both the story and the movie. In the movie, the fight occurs outside the gates of Troy, or outside where the Trojans live. This occurs when Achilles arrives there and Hector goes to meet him. Hector is killed by Achilles one-on-one. In the story, the god Athena helps Achilles win the fight when Achilles throws his sword towards Hector and it falls behind him, and she gives it back to him so that he can kill Hector.
Hector's family, once Hector dies, reacts very upset, and they're very devastated because Hector's mom, that was her favorite child, and she was the closest to him, and they were very sad that he passed away.
The way that the Hector and Achilles fight occurs is that in the book, Achilles is running towards Hector because he is angry at him for killing his best friend Patroclus. As Achilles approaches Hector, Hector starts to run away, and they get in a chase for a decent amount of time until Athena, like Ronnie said, helps out Achilles. Athena tricks Hector into stopping and fighting Achilles. And then after they stop, Achilles throws his spear and misses, but Athena brings it back to him. And then Hector tries to do the same, but his spear is on Achilles' side and he can't get it back, so Achilles ends up killing him. Well, in the movie, it is just a sword fight one-on-one, and Achilles kind of taunts Hector because he wants to kill him fairly, almost, and he just ends up killing him in front of all of the Trojan people. Another difference between the book and the movie describing the Trojan War is the fact that the Iliad starts later in the war, while the movie starts before the war and shows how it starts, and at the very end of the war, so it can show how the entire thing unfolds.
The order of events create effects because it shows the chronological order and builds suspense for the book and the movie. And the book, it gives you better detail of the events building up as the events go on.
Alright, and personally, I think that I liked the book better than I liked the movie, because there's some things that you can explain in a book that's harder to explain in a movie, like the godly help. Like, it'd be kind of tough to show Athena helping out Achilles during Achilles and Hector's battle and, like, giving him the spear, but it's kind of more simple to just write it and explain it, let the reader use his imagination.
In the movie Troy, and in the book The Iliad, the hero Achilles kills Prince Hector, and his father, King Priam, tries to get Hector's body back to honor his life and have a funeral for him, and he tries to convince Achilles to do this by trying to make him sympathize by saying that he's killed so many people's sons and that he has not let them honor their funerals since they've died in war.
In the movie Troy, the idea of the Trojan horse was intelligent and smart on the Greeks' part. It made them look like smart warriors. But then in the Aeneid, which was told in the Trojans' point of view, it was kind of different because it was biased towards the Trojans. So it made the Greeks seem like they were being really sneaky and barbaric and evil compared to the 50-50 perspective of the movie Troy.
In the book, The Iliad, it is more understandable and it gives more detail and it's more descriptive of how they set it up, and the movie neglects some of the information that is told in the book. So therefore, in my opinion, the book is more understandable than the movie because it goes into more detail, and if you wanted to go back and look through the book, you can to get the certain information that one needed.
In the movie Troy, they made certain choices and they focused on different elements to make it seem more equal and not really biased towards either one. But then in the Aeneid, they structured it a little bit differently, and then it changed the theme to be a little bit anti-Greek and more pro-Trojan. And that's the same for the Iliad. They made it biased towards the Greeks and not against the Trojans. That's how that affected the theme of all the different stories. Alright, thanks for watching our show, guys. We'll see you next time.
If there's a next time. Bye-bye.
Alright, so I'll catch you later.
Yeah,
Adios!
Dinner 5 you?
I got you.
Alright, get out later, bro.